Okay, as promised, Prime Minister Trudeau is he has announced that he is resigning, but on his way out, he is going to appoint some vacant senator seats. And interestingly enough, somebody that's been on the program here quite often is on that list of three that were announced last week. A farmer from Gray, Saskatchewan, Todd Lewis, also a member of the executive with the CFA. Hey, Todd, how's it going?
Very well, Sean.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Quite an
So,
honor.
yeah, well, yeah, it is an honor. Tell
Yes.
us about how'd you find out?
Well, there's a interview process and application process as well. So I put an application a couple of years ago, and really nothing came of it. And really over the last 2 weeks, I was given a phone call if I was still interested in the application, and I said yes, and from there it really accelerated, and really this has come together over the last couple of weeks, and I'm surprised as anybody to tell you the truth.
Who who told you that you were going to be appointed? Did the Prime Minister himself call you?
Yes, yeah, there's an interview process you do with the PMO. There's people within. Well, I guess they're not part of the PMO. They're actually the independent Senate board, and we did that. Did a really in-depth interview with a couple of people from Ottawa, and shortly after that, the phone rang. It was the Prime Minister, and asked me if I would accept the appointment.
And you were sort of like, yes, or like were you kind of stunned?
Well, I think once we got the interview process, I thought there was a pretty good chance, but really
Uh-huh.
the way it worked out, the interview was at 1 o'clock, and that very afternoon the call came. So it like I say, it was really accelerated, and I must have done pretty good on the interview because it didn't take long that the phone call came. So it was yeah, it was very unexpected, and as I say, a great honor and very humbling as well.
So in that interview, what are some of the things they asked you?
Oh, a lot of things about your past, for instance, and
Well, that's
social media
checkered.
presence.
That's whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa. Like,
past media interviews and so on. So hopefully, yeah, we'll
yeah,
get through okay, Sean. But
exactly.
no, and just things you would think about is would there be anything embarrassing in your social media presence? Those kind of things, right? They just want to ensure that you won't have something that can come up later on and embarrass the office and the Senate.
Okay, so you're busy with being on the executive of CFA. You're one of the vice presidents. You've had a big history with APAS as well, being involved in farm organizations. You're still farming.
Yes.
Now the Senate. This is going to be a lot to juggle.
You're right, and really, it's with the Senate, it's something that'll take me away from. I love farming. I love my farm. I love working with my family, the province of Saskatchewan, my local community. Very heavily involved, and this will take away from that, and I'll still be able to farm some, and we'll be involved with the farm, but we'll have to hire somebody to probably sit on the air drill a little bit more in at seeding time and the combine in the fall. But at the same time, this is such an opportunity and such a great challenge that I just couldn't pass it up.
So curious, Todd. You said you sent an application in a couple of years ago. What pushed you to do that? What's the why here on initially, not obviously now you're going to be in the Senate, but initially what was the driver to potentially be a senator?
Well, I think we've been underrepresented, over the history of the Senate, and we have Mary Robinson from PEI and Rob Block from Ontario are both have close to agricultural ties, and they've done a great job. But Western Canada, I felt was underrepresented, and also with the minority parliament, we've heard more about the Senate in recent times than really have for a long time before that previously, and with the minority parliament, there's been lots of bills go back and forth between the Senate and the House of Commons, and I thought having a bigger agricultural voice at the Senate would be helpful, and I hope it does turn out that way.
Got used to the name Senator Lewis yet?
not at all. No, it's actually I'm in Ottawa this morning and for the event, like you said, at FCC, and we'll be at the Senate this afternoon. So it's taken some getting used to, and I'm sure I'll hear lots of it this morning at the FCC event, and it certainly is something I certainly never was had in my plan, or I said to my brother, I said I never really looked to become a frequent flyer, let alone a senator. And
Well,
here we are. Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna find out how much fun it is to fly from Regina to Ottawa.
I'm already well aware of that. Yes, it's not much fun.
It is not good. It is not good. Regina to a lot of places is difficult. Regina
That's
to
another thing.
Ottawa is another thing
That's right.
for sure. I guess what is there anything in particular about as you're about to do the intake and begin the I guess the training or sort of the educational process of the intake here today? Is there anything you're kind of nervous about or kind of have sort of like anticipation about?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I think any preconceived notions I have about the Senate will be quickly proven wrong, like with most things. And no, it's a big learning curve, and the culture within the Senate is, amongst the other senators. I've had dozens literally reach out and welcome me to the Senate and offer their help, and so it's a very welcoming place, and certainly the staffing and so on is geared towards helping people like myself, new senators, adapt as quickly as possible. So I think if I have issues or any day help, there's been lots offered, and I'll certainly look forward to working with the 5 other senators from Saskatchewan and as well as the rest of the colleagues within the Senate.
What have you been hearing from some of your farming peers?
Well, I think generally, everybody's pretty excited that there's another voice for agriculture in the Senate, and I know not only the people in Western Canada but across Canada, the different people involved in different commissions and so on, and with my involvement with boards and groups in the past, so lots of people reaching out and renewing acquaintances in some cases, but really just continuing on with what we've been doing over the last, really the last decade, between APAS and CFA.
Yeah. So can you stay on CFA then while you're a senator? How does that work?
No, I'll be resigning from
Yeah.
CFA, and actually the timing's worked out well because it's an election year at CFA, so the executive's up for re-election or for election this at the end of the month here, so that part's going to work out well, and
Well,
yeah.
Todd, there's everybody that's been on a board always goes through a process. Okay, so if I don't get off this board now, I'm going to end up being president. This is one heck of an exit ramp. I've seen ways to get out of being the president of an organization. This maybe takes the cake, man. Sorry, I can't. I'm going to be a senator.
Yes, I guess that did work out fairly well, didn't it? Yeah. I've also been on a municipal council in Saskatchewan for over 20 years, and I'll be off of it as well. So that was almost like a lifetime appointment. So this is so that's worked out. I haven't thought of it that way, but that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, but before I let you go, let's talk some farming. How are conditions right now? And you got some snow on the ground out there in Gray?
Yeah, where really we've had I guess kind of an old fashioned winter. Lots of snow, bitterly cold right now, and last week we between 10-day period there from over the last 2 weeks we had some real heavy blizzard conditions on a Friday, and the following Wednesday we had close to a foot of snow. So, and then more snow and blowing this past weekend. So we have snow. Certainly the shelter belts are full, and people's looking for replenishment of their dugouts this spring, and we weren't that bad condition really right around the south of Regina there. We were going into the fall. I wouldn't say wet, but with adequate moisture, so we should have a good start this spring.
Yeah, there was a good crowd too, a crop production show. As
Yes.
much as we've talked about, some of the challenges with the markets and input prices coming up, I don't know. It just seemed like there was some jump in people's step at crop production show in Saskatoon.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when you don't have rain, you don't even have a chance, right? You don't have moisture. And I think that's what we're seeing this year. That the between the snowfall and some timely rains last year, and of course, there's lots of areas that still have big deficits and so on, and those people certainly will be looking for more snow or rain in the spring. But
Yeah.
I think overall, that's what I'm kind of getting this winter and last fall is some little bit more optimism, and of course, all the trade issues and everything else aren't helping. Lots of uncertainty, but unfortunately, I think we're going to be in for 4 years of that. I don't think there's any way getting around that. So
That's kind of
that's
your
going to be
expectation.
I think
That,
it's going to be
yeah.
the new normal. We had been down with the CFA in San Antonio at the American Farm Bureau meetings, not this week but last week, the week before, and just talking to farmers down there, they certainly aren't in favor of tariffs. So much of our trade is north and south in North America, and it's taken decades for those markets to develop, and there's a reason they have developed that way. It makes sense. So I think as this plays itself out, it's day to day at the executive level there in Washington, and it'll be interesting to see what comes next. But I'm sure it's going to be the one thing for sure. It's going to be volatile, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been talking to Todd Lewis, farmer from Gray, Saskatchewan, VP with CFA for now, and newly appointed member of the Canadian Senate. Well, Senator Lewis, I'm not sure if we're officially supposed to say that yet, but I'll say it. Senator Lewis, it's great to chat with you.
Okay, thank you.